G'day guys, how you going? Today I'm doing a bit of work on the DR. The other day I walked in the shed and I noticed it was sitting on its stand. I noticed that there was a little pool of oil up near the front, and that's usually one thing you've done an oil seal in the forks. So I had a look at the gator, lifted the gator up, which is basically this here, pulled that up, and there was a lot of rubbish around here, but then there was, I could see there was oil coming down there. So it's blown a seal, which is pretty common for these things. They do it occasionally. So it's no big deal, but it's just a bit of a hassle to do it all, because you've got to drop all the forks out, wheels have got to come off. I'm going to check the brakes because I've got a feeling I might need some front pads. So that's what I'm doing today. So I'll get stuck into it and see how I get going. I'll get back to you later and let you know how I progress. Alright, see you then. Hey guys, right, so I've got all my shocks apart, and you wouldn't believe it, but this here, this is what goes up the inside of your shocker, and right down the bottom in there, there's a little screw, this one. So this here screws on the end of that and holds it inside that shocker. You can see that, inside that shocker. So you can't pull, so this one's completely apart, so you can't pull the shocker any further than that. So when you go over a jump, if your shocker goes full extend, that's what holds it in. So that's it. So until you can get that out. Now, they sell tools and all that sort of stuff to get it out, and I didn't have it. So I spent about half an hour looking at all different things that I've got that can get it out. And I ended up with this piece of bar, which is just standard bar that I use for welding stuff. And I slid it in there carefully, and it locked in. So there you go. And I know the tool's about 40 or 50 bucks, but if you don't do it, like don't get onto that, as you can see there, it's got like a thing to it. If you don't do that, you'll never get it out because it just spins. If you try and undo the end bit, it'll just spin. So yeah. So anyway, I got it out. That's the main thing. Now I can put the new seal on. So this is the new one. There's the old one. And that's all this pulling apart is just to replace this. So there's that. There's the new one. I put grease on it. I push it in. So now, what I'll actually do is leave that there for a minute, and I'll put, just checking that to make sure it's right. So this has got to go in first. That goes all the way down. And then this goes in. It goes into this way. Carefully put that in there. Yep. And the nut. Locate that nut. Get my bar again. Definitely slide it up in there. So you're just doing the reverse of what you did last time. Now notice I've got the vise sitting there. That's because when you get near the end, sometimes you've got to use a vise on it. Yeah, it's starting to spin now, see? back out. So now that shock, I'll get to the end of its travel, which is there. That shock can't come out now. It's locked in there. That goes in there. I'll put them in properly a bit later. Because I'll put a thing around there, like a sleeve, and then put them in that way. Put them in properly. Alright, now, on this particular bike, I have these, which, if you haven't seen them before, I'm trying to remember their correct name, not eliminators, emulator. So what they do, it's on a spring, opens up a valve. Oh, it's a tight spring. Opens up a valve and allows the fluid to move as it should do. Now I know that they go in that way. It's a bit crooked. I'll just take it out and redo it. Don't crook it again. Oh, there it is. Sitting flat now. Okay, here comes Mark's just come back because he was out getting me some more oil, more fork oil. So and he's taken his DR for a test. He was just doing something to it. I don't know what he was doing. So here he comes.
Didn't have any. No more.
Thanks, mate. There you go, service with a smile, eh? Alright. Where were we? Okay, got that in. I'll turn it off for a minute because I know Mark's going to want to tell me something. Alright, I'll see you in a sec. Okay, I'm up to the stage where I can fill one of these shocks of oil. I'll do one at a time, that way I don't get things mixed up. There goes my phone. I'll get this done first. There's 500, there's 50, there's 60. So, couldn't have been 500, could it? Because then I would have, they're 1 litre, so I would have had enough. So it had to be 560. Alright, now what I'll do, I'll seat that properly, put the clip in, then I'll fill them up with oil. So I'll come back to you. Okay, so now, just going to put this spring on. That just holds everything in place. That's clicked, that's clicked, that's clicked. Alright, very good. Bring him down here so I can see what I'm doing. Bring you down here with it. Okay, so we pop this back off. Like that. And very carefully, actually I can take that out because it doesn't have to be there. Very carefully. carefully back on. Hey guys, how you going? Take my goggles off. I've got the forks back in. I didn't film at all because I had Mark here and I was backwards and forwards helping him do different stuff, so it kept getting broken up all the time. So I ended up, basically, you saw me start to put one back together. So they're back together and I've slid them back in. One of the other things that last time I was out with Lucas, I noticed that he said to me my front headlight was flickering occasionally, and so I took the front, so the front panel's been removed, and that's what it looks like when you do it. Your wiring basically sits all underneath that front paneling, or this thing. So it sort of makes the front of the bike, but yeah. So your wiring basically sits in this part here, which I've got to clean that because it's dusty. So I found the problem, and it was actually one of the wires had pulled out, which meant when I went to high beam, so I can show you now, there's the normal one, and then, wrong side lane, when I went to high beam, this one would go out and this one would come on. So I fixed that, which was just plugging the wires back in, and just through, you know, hard riding, and not hard riding, I shouldn't say that, just bumpy roads, like really rough, you know, tracks we go up and stuff. It had just rattled loose, so it wasn't really a big deal, but it's just general maintenance. Everyone does it. And you get them going again. So I can pop that cover back on now. I know I won't, because I said I'm going to clean it, didn't I? So, not that that's a big deal, because we're just getting out of a rag. Because I don't take this off very often, the front doesn't have to come off very often. When I do take it off, I always give it just a cheap export tyre shine, which is basically silicone spray. So I just give everything a good liberal coating, and around the key and stuff like that. Just a good liberal coating of this stuff. Because they do occasionally cop a bit of water, you know, when you dive in, they get a bit splashed up. Okay, it's one side I can see. Get my little nuts and bolts. One done. Twist around the other side. And there's one down in there, which I can see. I'll try and get onto it now. This one's a bit awkward, especially with this thing being in the way. But that was there when I bought it, so I don't mind it. Works good. But it is just a little bit awkward to get onto. Probably going to have to do the awkward bit and do it by hand. And once it starts, did I say it was awkward? It's really awkward. Put a small screwdriver in there. Alright. So what this is, these, my mate gives me these when they wear out, because he's a veterinarian surgeon, and they're just little clampies. But they're so good. I mean, his worn out and our worn out are totally different. But I know what he means, they're no good for what he's doing. So occasionally, he brings them up and says, here you go, I've got some more for, I've got about 4 pairs. So now I've given them to people, given them to friends and stuff. And they all say exactly the same thing. What am I going to do with them? And then about, you know, a couple of months later when they've used it for some little job they're doing, oh, those things you gave me, they're unbelievable. Yep. But Danny, my mate who gives me them, he's such a generous person. Anything that he doesn't want that's worthwhile having, he always rings me up and, you know, got any need for this? And he's never offended if I say, no mate, no, I don't think I'll ever have a need for that. He goes, oh, that's okay. So, you know, he's such a nice bloke. Now I think I can go to the longer screwdriver.